These tree stumps were once part of a forest extending over a kilometre off the present Mid Wales coast. Analysis shows that the forest flourished between 5,000 and 4,500 years ago. The trees colonising a fenland landscape surrounding a freshwater lagoon. The forest consisted mainly of oaks, but also ash, birch, hazel and pine trees were present, and would have looked like this would on the banks of the Diffy estuary today. Increased waterlogging between 4,800 and 4,000 years ago resulted in proliferation of sphagnum mosses and the gradual death of the trees. Over time, the mosses built up into thick deposits of peat, burying the dead tree stumps. But the acid anaerobic conditions within the peat preserved the tree roots and fallen trunks. The sea level continued to rise and covered the dead tree stumps. The peat was eventually topped by a layer of deposited bluish-grey clay and finally sand. The sea level rise was due to the melting of the vast ice sheets of the last ice age, and lasted from about 19,000 to about 4,000 years ago. During this period, global sea levels rose by more than 120 metres, an average of 1 metre per century. Most of the time, the forest is hidden by sand and sea, but occasionally rough seas, following prolonged southwesterly gales, scour the sand away, revealing stumps at low tide. Within the peat layer, archaeologists have found Mesolithic composite antler tools, flints, scatterings of burnt stones from ancient hearths, and part of the skeleton of an auroch, the now extinct ancestor of all domestic cattle, which at that time was found all across Europe. In addition, human and animal footprints have been found, preserved in the hardened peat surface. During the winter storms of January 2014, further erosion exposed a timber walkway formed from coppice timber laid side by side and running away from the beach. It would have looked like this recent walkway constructed for similar reasons. It would have been built as the local people found ways to cope with living in an increasingly waterlogged environment. Although it is sometimes referred to as the fossil forest, the wood is not fossilised as such. It looks and feels just like what one might expect water-worn and waterlogged wood to look and feel like. The skeletal trees are said to have given rise to the local legend of a lost kingdom, drowned beneath the waves. Cantref Gwaelod, or the Lowland Hundred, is a legendary ancient sunken kingdom said to have occupied a tract of fertile land lying between Bardsey Island and Ramsey Island in what is now Cardigan Bay. The legend describes the land as being defended from the sea by a dyke, complete with sluice gates, managed by one Prince Sethenin, who, it was said, was fond of his drink. One dark and stormy night, the gates were neglected during drunken festivities, and as the tide rose, so the sea swept in, ruining the land. On a calm, quiet day, some say you can still hear the bells of the drowned church of Cantref Gwaelod, ringing far out under the sea. All over the world, many coastal forests were similarly affected by the sea level rise. However, the remains lying off the old fishing village of Borth in Cardigan Bay are the best preserved in the UK.